What's up, guys? Sub-Zero here, back for another VOD review of Set 11, because Set 11 is going live tomorrow, if you guys are not aware. On Wednesday, local time, it should be going up. I think if you're in, like, OCE, it should be going live, like, pretty soon, because, you know, they're in the future over there. This is a VOD review from the Fortune Favors the Brave tournament that I was in, Kai was in. A lot of really strong North American players were in, as you can see in this lobby. Connor is me, T-Lides, and we're watching Jukyu's POV. These are all players who've been to World Championships before, so yeah, no slouches among any of them. So wanted to VOD review this because I also played in this tournament. I did okay, I made it to the second day, but did not make it to the final 16 because I was just not very well versed on some of these reroll comps that, you know, Jukyu's gonna play in this game and that other people played in other games. So I want to get some info on them because, hey, we're rapidly going into live very soon. One other thing that I would like to say right at the start here, it's not out yet, but I did make it into the box boot camp for this set. Also, I mean, I love 1-2-3 just in general early. I guess maybe you could Pandora's item if you really want to hard force Teemo from this spot, but yeah, 1-2-3 is too broken not to take, I feel like. But yeah, I made it to box boot camp this time, so that is really hype. We are going to be, you know, doing our best to climb as quickly as possible. I really do want to grind kind of hard this set, so I think it'll be really fun. For you guys, that means you can participate as viewers in the boot camp. You just have to sign up under me, and I imagine that's going to be available in the next, you know, few days or something like that. I believe it's like stuck on the set 10 version of the site right now. They haven't fully updated it for set 11. In any case, we get a Manazane, we get a Teemo. You guys, if you don't know, well, you're about to learn. The comp we're playing this game is Teemo, more like trick shot or reroll, because you can play around Teemo, you can play around a lot of other trick shots. But the main idea is you abuse the fact that Storyweaver is very strong, just giving you this full giant Kale unit at 3 Storyweaver. And Teemo is very strong. Bard is another Storyweaver who's very strong. So it's just really easy to put these Storyweaver units on your board and have a really nice time. So that's what we're gonna do here. We picked up Manazane for the Teemo, which is fantastic. Just a solid item because he is so low mana cost. So if we can get to, I wonder if we'll end up just going like the blue buff Manazane build at the end. That's something that people used to do. I remember like blue buff Manazane Ezreal was like an idea. That's absolutely something that you can do if you get to it. But yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic opener and a fantastic comp in general. I even see there's a Jinx on Carousel. We could have been, or not Jinx, Zoe. I don't know why I said Jinx. I mean, I don't know. They're both like tiny. But yeah, the Zoe there with those with tier as well, right? So we're very happy to pick this up. It's half of potentially a blue buff for our Teemo, and we can put the Zoe in here and get Arcanist in. Yeah, there's an idea of like making static chip here, but the problem is it gets rid of your blue buff component, which is what you tend to really want onto Teemo. Though I don't know exactly how Manazane affects his BIS, because yeah, I haven't actually been able to play Manazane on this guy yet. But if you guys aren't familiar with Teemo, he throws a little mushroom. It does damage over time. It is not AoE as much as you know might think, because Teemo's shrooms are AoE in regular League. It does not actually wound people like heal reduc. It is just damage over time on a single target. But because he's trick shot, you can see when he throws a shroom, it's going to bounce to a backline unit. So you want to get in ideally for trick shot as soon as possible, but you also want to hit Teemo 3. So I'm interested to see how GQ balances that, because when I played this comp, I was kind of lost at how to do that. I you know, tried to roll on 6 to find Teemo 3. I found Teemo 3, but that made it really hard for me to push levels and get the 4 trick shot in. So I'm curious to see how GQ plays around it. But the nice thing is that GQ has a really strong opener with this Manazane here. It's allowing him to actually pick up a lot of kills early on that he wouldn't normally be able to with like a 0-item Teemo. Because the hard part about Teemo is you want to get to this blue buff as quickly as possible, but you can't possibly get blue buff from your early drops, right? There's no possible way to get that, you know, tier. You'd need like an augment to get there, or you need to get it off first carousel, and we didn't even have a tier to start off with. So it's kind of difficult. It's interesting as well that he's holding a lot of these Arcanist units. I think Jukyu might have actually been leaning towards Arcanist reroll this game, is certainly how it looks. Yeah, like he even opts to sell this over here. I think in his mind here, he's playing more like Arcanist reroll. But then I think once he sees this Galio, he says, okay, I probably have to play this comp from here. The Galio is way too nice for it. This is what we're going to play towards. Later, yeah, trying to figure out what his best Story Weaver unit is here. Yeah, you absolutely cannot cut the trick shot here. So, I mean, yeah, this version looks solid. We can think about getting this Nico out eventually because she's actually just 0 synergy right now. But, I mean, Galio, fantastic early mid-game units. I mean, one of the best 4 costs I feel like to pick up here. He's going to be so tanky. And the Nico 2 is also going to carry us here. And if we can find like a Teemo 2 on 6, we'll be absolutely cruising. I don't actually hate Epoch in comps like this, but looks like Jukyu does. He's looking at like Heroic Grab Bag just to... I mean, I don't know. I'm actually curious too. Ooh, but he gets Lucky Ricochet here, which is fantastic augment here. I'll go back because maybe people aren't familiar with this one. This makes Trick Shot's abilities bounce 1 additional time for 50% original damage. So it's another entire Ricochet for Teemo, which is huge. Do you ever think about Guard Breaker here, by the way? Yeah, it certainly looks like you do. I think it's a fantastic item on Teemo because he's going to bounce his shrooms, you know, get the damage on the initial target, and the second one is going to bounce. And so very easily, like, look, he's already proccing Guard Breaker on all of these units. The only downside is that Guard Breaker tends to be a lower prio item this set. Just a lot of people are saying that they don't like it that much because there's really just not that much shielding in the game. But I mean, I still think, you know, in spots like this, kind of have to make it here. Juki's so rich. I wonder if you ever just take the Anvil here. 10 gold is so much gold. But the Anvil here, it could be blue buff, or it could be, I mean, actually, you really want it to be tier. If you don't get tier here, you're very upset. Did he just pick up? Yeah, he picked up a double Teemo shop. And I think that swung in his mind the decision here to actually start looking for Teemo 3. He does get the tier here, so I feel like even if it's not blue buff, it would have to be tier for Static Shift. So yeah, it is blue buff. We make it here, and our Teemo is 3 items here. We're 94 HP streaking. We're in an amazing spot. And we already have 5 Teemos because that double Teemo shop. So I wonder if he's just going to slow roll on 6 until he finds Teemo 3 and then start to push levels. Looks like that is what he's interested in here. There's a spat. There's 3 spats on Carousel, actually, and you can make a Story Weaver spat. It's a little bit hard to fit here. I would probably just end up going for tier here for Static Shiv. Looks like he really wants red buff. Interesting. So he's not really concerned too much about that shred. He cares more about the heal cut here. And I'm not actually sure who that's going to go on because, you know, you can't put it on Teemo. We got 3 item Teemo here. Except another Nico. So maybe we're actually going to go for Nico 3 here, which is, once again, kind of weird because we don't have the Arcanist in anymore because we're already playing these Bruisers. So yeah, we're just going to send the red buff onto the Alawi for now. I mean, we have the Arcanist in Alawi, but it doesn't really fit very well onto the board. He's gonna put the red buff onto Alawi, which I like a play like this a lot. Oh, and the other scary thing is we look at Connor's board. Connor's holding 4 Teemos. I know he scouted a bit and didn't see a ton out, but Connor with 4 is a little annoying for sure. It's kind of difficult this comp hitting Teemo 3 just because there's so many people who want to be playing Teemo. Okay, I like this a lot. Yeah, we're gonna move the red buff over to Bard here. Means we're going to lose Arcanist, but means we get the Bard in. Bard's going to spread it pretty well because, once again, he's a trick shot, so all of his autos are going to bounce. So as you see, he's applying it here to both Alun and to, that was a Darius there. So it's actually a pretty nice holder of this. I'm interested, why are we still holding on to this Kobuko? I mean, I guess it's for 4 Bruiser eventually, but I'm quite surprised that this Kobuko. Also interesting pickup here, we end up finding the Thomas Kench 2-star, and so we're actually going to put it in over the ribbon. We're going to drop out of Story Weaver and then just play this. This is a pretty interesting line. I feel like it's kind of awkward. Like, we end up hitting this Nico 3, which has no real synergies on our board here. We are a couple of Teemos off, and wow, Jukyu is just going to send it here. This is something I think that's very reasonable this set. I feel like tempo is up so much that I find that a lot of games that I have that go poorly this set are games where I don't do this, where I don't send it in spots like these, and I just end up bleeding out at 50 gold and then just end up dying. People are just playing stronger boards, stage 3, early stage 4, and so like you kind of need to send it in spots like these. Infernal Bulwark doesn't even look horrible here. It can't be Lucky Gloves, right? Ooh, Harm Assist is the pickup. Okay. Yeah, we have no healing onto Teemo here, so I could certainly see it. Yeah, I think that's probably the best pick here. The weird thing about Bulwark is that you end up with Warmogs, and then you end up with double Declaw, which is like kind of the hard part about it. Maybe I'm underrating this Harm Assist augment, because I usually think about Harm Assist as like one of those augments, you know, it was really good in like Yone in the past, like this sort of like melee comps, but this is actually a set where a lot of people have said there's like so much backline access that having healing onto your backline is pretty relevant. And so Harm Assist here, yeah, maybe I'm curious to see what the stats look like when they come out, but maybe Harmesis is just like one of the best augments in the game. I would not be surprised at all. All right, so we're one off Teemo here. It's interesting that Jukyu has decided to not roll anymore. He found his Nico 3 and said, you know what, we're just gonna sit here on our board and wait a little bit. I mean, ideally, we just high roll and like natural a Teemo. But if we don't, we can econ back up to, I don't know, 40 gold or something like that, and then start rolling again towards the end of the stage. Yeah, we're gonna take a big loss here to a duelist board here. Looks like probably, actually, I was gonna say they're 6 duelists, but they're twin terror duelists, which is pretty funny. I have not seen that before. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, I mean, we just want, we can either take a tank artifact for our Nico, or we can take like a damage artifact for our Bard here. It's gonna end up having to be, no, there is a tank augment one, and it's actually very solid. So yeah, we can just get the Spirit Visage here, which is nice. And we have Sword, which can just become GS. Not bad at all. Ooh, and yeah, wow, Juki's gonna level up here for the 4 trick shot. So he's still not Teemo 3, but he says, I can find Teemo 3 on 7. 4 trick shot is a huge spike. Wow, I think, yeah, this is something that I have to start doing more, because I definitely have been hesitant this set to do this exact play, because they decreased the 2-cost odds. It used to be 35% at level 7, and now it's 30%. So it's a good bit harder, 5% harder per tile to I don't know, what do you call these? I mean, look, they're tiles to find Teemo. So it's actually like quite annoying. Also, he notes here that he can actually fit Exalted really easily just by adding 1 Exalted unit, because for some reason Galio and Kaisa are paired up, which I think most people actually won't be playing around Galio Kaisa, just because most people don't like playing around Kaisa. But Jukyu can easily do that on just on the level 8, so that'll be really nice. The only scary part is having enough frontline, but I mean, this Nico ends up being enough frontline. It's also really cool how we fit the Mythic in with this board, with just the Tahm Kench and the Bard. This is not, I would say, like the standard version of the comp, but a really cool version that actually works really well. I haven't seen somebody play this before, but it kind of, the Nico assuages all the problems that you would have normally in this comp, because you don't really like have enough frontline if you just play around this Nico. I mean, Ionic Spark plus Warmogs is fantastic here. Wow, I mean, Guinsoo's good for sure. Okay, I feel like you have to go Spark here. Guinsoo is good for sure on a Bard. I mean, it's one of his best items, but he already has red buff for the attack speed, and I would be really shocked if we played this game with 0 shred the entire game. But yeah, I don't know. This was a cool game to see him roll down so much for that stuff. I mean, I assume he's gonna roll at 7 here. I can't imagine we're just gonna go fast. The way he's hovering, it almost looks like he's gonna go fast 8 here and not even worry about hitting this Teemo 3 and just say, I'll hit Teemo 3 when I hit Teemo 3. It's such a big spike though. And you could find Galio, but maybe he's saying I'm gonna find Teemo 3 at 8, which, you know, is gonna be even lower odds of finding it. I don't know. This is a really interesting game from the perspective of reroll. I think this might be, you know, what I'm missing when playing this comp, is prioritizing too much rolling it down for the Teemo 3 as opposed to just rolling it down for upgrades. If you don't find Teemo 3, you don't find it, and then you can potentially push levels. I mean, it certainly looks like it's gonna work out for him. He can level next round potentially. I would even go so far as to roll for Teemo next round and then level. Ooh, he's cooking up something kind of nice here. He's cooking up the ability to potentially get in Ink Shadow here with the Udyr and the Aatrox here. I don't know how he's gonna fit all these units. I mean, he's gonna have to cut it. Like, we can't cut the Galio. I don't know. I feel like you would just play the Exalted. I don't know how. I mean, I'm not sure what the Ink Shadow item is. I guess it's a good item that for Bard, but I mean, we can just pick up a Bard item here. So like a static Shiv for repetitive shred here wouldn't even be bad. Or just, I guess, an IE. I've seen IE Bard. It's not terrible. We couldn't get the static Shiv there, so yeah, we're gonna pick up the IE. But yeah, I would even look to roll here on 7 first and then level, but it looks like he's just so unbothered. Doesn't care about hitting the Teemo 3 at all. I mean, he'll definitely go for it. I have to imagine you roll here. There's so many things to hit. Okay, we hit the Kaisa 2. We hit another copy of Galio, but yeah, just not prioritizing the Teemo 3 at all. But I mean, the other crazy thing about this comp that makes this play not so crazy is that Teemo 2 is a monster. I mean, look how much damage Teemo 2 is just outputting in these fights. I would be really tempted to just roll down to 10 gold here, but looks like he's not that interested in that. And he wants to get Storyweaver in over Exalted. It's 20 AP for, it ends up being just Teemo here. But he also gets Arcanist in, which is really, really sort of cute synergy to get in. You could get that in, or you could get in the Exalted here, which would be a decent amount of extra damage for your entire team. But yeah, I mean, I could see it. Just Arcanist for your entire... I mean, it's 40 AP. I don't know. Someone who knows like actual TFT math can certainly do the math and say like, oh, well, you know, Teemo's gaining 40 AP, Bard's gaining 20 AP. That's an X% damage increase for Teemo and an X% damage increase for Bard. And that is, you know, better or worse than Exalted. The other thing is you get the Kale, which is, I mean, like, not really much, but it's something. Have to imagine we're going to roll a good bit here. He's going to take the Shen now? Okay, now that he has Shen 2, he's going to fit that in here, just because that's an upgrade. And yeah, he is going to roll down to 10 here as one off pretty much everything. So might as well roll down here and then just pick up an item for, I would think, Galio here. Oh, we get the TG here for Kaisa, which is not bad either. And yeah, I mean, now we've hit Bard 3. It's actually so funny. It ended up being kind of like a Bard reroll comp more than a Teemo reroll comp, because we hit Bard before Teemo, just because we went Teemo 2. We went 8 copies into Fast 8. This is such an interesting game from a reroll perspective. And, you know, look, I called out at the start of the game T-Lights, Connor, and Jukyu. And, I mean, not to say that TFT is all skill, but 3 of them... all of them are in the top 4. Maybe they might be in top 3, depending on how Ripple Overdrive does, who is another very, very strong named player. I think if you looked at the start of this game and looked like said who are the strongest players, you would say these 4 without a doubt. And hey, they're all top 4. So yeah, TFT is all skill, is all I'm saying. I've never seen a good player bot for a game of TFT. In any case, we got one more fight against T-Lights potentially. I'm not sure how strong. Oh, he's the Yone board. This is another comp that I actually need to make a video on. There's so many reroll comps I need to make videos on, and like Tactor guides as well. But I have to like make this VOD. You can see I'm dressed up. I gotta make this VOD and then run and go do something, and then I'll be live tomorrow for the start of the set after I get off work, because like, yeah, I have a job. Sorry. Ooh, there was an idea of taking a Storeweaver spat here. Wow, he's gonna Redemption backline here for Connor's board. You think that's better than Storeweaver here? Yeah, because it's another it's kind of sus, but the top 2 are gonna be 2 4 trickshot comps. Also, by the way, this comp was not nerfed at all. Oh, and that's the reason why we didn't go for Teemo 3. Now I'm seeing that Connor hit Teemo 3. It's still hittable, right? There's 22 copies, I believe, of 2 costs, so it's still hittable, but makes a lot more sense, because I don't know, I was thinking the way that that Jukyu played this game out was crazy, but with 9 Teemos at the pool, with Connor hitting Teemo 3, this makes a lot more sense. But yeah, I mean, you can see the power of this comp, because Jukyu is gonna, I mean, top 2 with it, and Connor is going to maybe win. We'll see. We'll see if it's possible. I mean, like I said, it's still theoretically possible for us to hit Teemo. Obviously, if we get like a duplicator, then we can just make it. But it's still just even possible for us to get us in the shop. And I mean, maybe it's possible for us to win without even needing it. We're looking to potentially level for this Zoe here to fit everything in on level 9. Still, yeah, I mean, you don't look for the Teemo because there's so many out of the pool. I mean, we have 8, Connor has 9, so that's 17 out. So there's only 5 left in the pool, and with 25% odds of picking one up, yeah, it's pretty tough to find one. But hey, duplicator one time, Mort? Okay, Mort does not have us, sadly. There's another spot where I think I might... Wait, did he roll on 8 there, or did he roll on 9? Because if he rolled on 8, he's a genius. Yeah, I love that. I love that play. You roll on 8 for the highest odds of Teemo, and then you push 9. He actually did a pretty cute thing where he pre-leveled all the way, so he just very easily knew how much gold he was going to have. And he said, okay, so I can pre-level, and then I can just roll the 4 gold. It means you just don't have to calculate the amount of gold that you can roll down in your head, because you want to roll on 8 until you have just enough gold to push 9. So that's a nice little way of doing that there from Jukyu. And I think this is just going to win us the game, because now we have Teemo 3. Connor's board is strong, but he doesn't have Bard 3 that we hit. He doesn't have Nico 3 either. So we get to play this really, really nice just combination of units. A pretty, like I said, non-standard version of the board. You see more standard versions of the board that are like 4 Bruiser, because that's just easier to fit. You don't see Nico 3 all the time, but he had in this game, and it is going to be a win for Mr. Jukyu. So, I mean, look, if you doubt the strength of this comp, look at the final batch history. 1 Teemo 3, 1 Teemo 3. I mean, our comp wasn't Teemo 3, but it ended up capping out with Teemo 3. I think this comp's gonna be broken when it goes live, because I don't think there was a single nerf to it, except for the nerf to 2 healthy, which is a nerf to this comp for sure, but they didn't nerf Teemo at all, which is crazy to me. And they buffed Storyweaver. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. I'll drop a link to sign up for my Box Bootcamp as like a YouTube post, and I'll announce it whenever it comes out. Thanks. Okay, see you guys in the next video. Bye. I gotta run.